Om. Om. ॐ ब्रह्मानन्दं परमसुखदं केवलं ज्ञानमूर्तिं द्वन्द्वातीतं गगनसदृशं तत्त्वमस्यादिलक्ष्यम् एकं नित्यं विमलमचलं सर्वधी साक्षिभूतं भावातीतं त्रिगुणरहितं सद्गुरुं तं नमामि। ॐ सहनाववतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। हरिः ॐ श्रीगुरुभ्यो नमः। हरिः ॐ। So we have started that portion of the Bhagavad Gita where Bhagavan is giving his autobiography himself. So who can know better than himself about himself, right? So he's the best source. If I'm talking about myself, I would be the best source about talking about my own life or whatever. So he's the best source, and he starts off saying that he will give samagram, complete knowledge of his whatever knowledge that is. And he promises Arjun that he will have not only the knowledge, but also the Vijnana, the wisdom. So he will have the knowledge and he will also have the realization. And then he also gives the reason, why should I know you? So in verse 2, Bhagavan says, knowing which there will be remaining nothing else to be known. So it is the highest knowledge, knowing which there remains nothing else to be known. In all other subjects, you may, as one of our Swamijis put it, she said, when somebody comes to me and says, I'm a PhD in chemistry, she says, that means you're telling me that you're ignorant of so many other subjects, physics, math, astronomy, astrology, you name it. So that's what you're telling me. You're telling me about your ignorance by saying that I have a PhD in chemistry, one subject. So this is one subject where you get the PhD and then that's it. There is no more ignorance left. After praising the language, the knowledge, Bhagavan praises the student. He says, Manushanam Sahasrenshu. Among thousands and thousands of men, few come to want to know me, and out of the few, only one may reach me, one may know me in a sense. So the very fact, Arjun, that you have come to me and asked for this knowledge, you're very, very special. And the reason that the teacher is doing this is so to create an inspiration in the student, right? It was, oh, I'm special, let me listen with great care, this is great knowledge, knowing which I don't have to know anything, I won't have to know anything else, and now I'm also very special. So that is what he did. He created that inspiration in the mind of the student by praising the student. And then he went on to say that these five elements, along with mind, intellect, and ego, they are my prakriti, my lower prakriti. What is meant, I told you that these five elements and these three, mana, buddhi, and ahankara, they are in subtle form. They're the tanmatras, and they form the material cause of this world. And they are actually, when it is said, the mind, intellect, and ego, it is of Ishvara, not our individual. I showed you the chart last time. So there is a totality chart. So Ishvara is there. In the place of we is Ishvara. And then mind and intellect is Hiranyagarbha, and then body is the Virat. Now this it's called Hiranyagarbha womb, Hiranya, shining, gold, which is shining. So it has a lot of knowledge. Ishvara's mind and intellect has a lot of knowledge as to how to create Not only how to see, when anything is created, the knowledge of how to create it has to be there. So that knowledge is there. And then also Ishvara has the knowledge of what destiny should be dished out to each jiva, because that destiny is depending on what the karmas, whatever past karmas that jiva has done. And that knowledge also Ishvara has, and therefore it is Hiranyagarbha. Now to create a body is required. So Virat is also there. And that forms his lower prakriti. By saying that it is my lower prakriti, the indication is there, it is me only, but it is my lower self. Okay, that is what he's saying. And then in the next one, in verse number 5, he says, other than this prakriti, apara, different from this, apara, or that is my lower prakriti. Apara is either different or that is lower, and there is a higher prakriti of mine, and that is, here he calls it a jiva bhutam. This jiva bhutam is the life principle in all of us. Okay. And what he's saying is this material, see, the inert objects, they are existing, so they need the substratum of that existence. And what he's saying is my higher prakriti is that existence principle, existence consciousness, bliss principle is my higher prakriti. Now what is meant by higher is subtler, and also what is meant by subtler is that it is the cause, and third thing is that effect cannot exist without the cause. So this apara prakriti, which is the lower prakriti, which is bhumi, rapa, the 5 elements and mind, intellect, and this cannot be sustained without that higher prakriti. So if you look at your individual self, the body is made up of the 5 elements. We have the mind, intellect, and the vasanas. Without the life principle in us, is this body of any use? Is the mind of any use? Okay, it cannot survive. So we have these two. We have the lower prakriti, which is the body, mind, and intellect, and we have the higher prakriti, which is the Sat Chit and Ananda principle. So does the world. The world, all the inert objects in the world have existence as their substratum. So that's why, in Hindu tradition, we pray to the trees, and this every nature we pray to. Now we pray to the sun god, the rain god, the wind god. So all of these deities, they are also supported by me, by my higher nature. This is what he says in this Yayedam Dharyate Jagata. So one Dharyate is dharan, is upholding this world is by that existence principle. And the jivas, by their karma, means us, by doing our karmas, we are also upholding the world, because we do karmas which have to give results, because that is law of karma, that the result has to come. Then to exhaust that result, we need another world. That's why this rebirth is happening. So we are also upholding this jagat. But we are upholding with the help of the life principle. No? Jiva can do action only because he is alive, because he has that life principle in him. So he is able to do karmas through his body. Those karmas are giving results. Those results have to be exhausted, and thus the cycle goes on. So to exhaust the result, a field of experience is required, which is known as Jagat. So this inert world, this is the two ways, Yayedam Dharyate Jagata, two ways. One way existence, see, the inert world is existing without us. That's why they told us in the safari, these animals are very happy without you human beings coming in. Then human beings go in there and they create problems in their natural environment. So the world is existing very peacefully without us. Then we go cut the trees and we do all kinds of things. Anyway, so one way is that existence principle, and one way is through the jiva also this world is being sustained, because we are creating karma phala through our karma. Through our karmas, we create karma phala. That karma phala has to give rise to another world. So this is what he said. So these are his two prakritis. Okay. Now we were on this, and then etad yoni. Understand that these two are the yoni. Yoni is womb. These two, the apara prakriti and the para prakriti. Apara, lower. Lower is that material, and the para is the higher cause, subtler, because of which this material is being sustained. It is, when the example given is this, a potter, right? A pot is made, the clay is there, the material is there, clay, but the nimitta karana, the efficient cause has to be there. The potter has to be there to make that pot. The clay is there, but the somebody has to be there, human being, to make that pot. So what Bhagavan is saying, that clay is my lower prakriti and the potter is my higher prakriti. That is how, it's very simple terms. Okay, I am the potter also and I am the pot also. That's what Bhagavan is saying. He says, it's my lower prakriti, me only, it's me only, lower and higher. Okay, and he says that this is how these yoni, this is how this world is being sustained by these two. One is the existence principle, one is the karmas that are being done by all the jivas. All right, Jagata Prabhava Pralasata. And I am the point from where everything is coming out, and I am sustaining it. Sustenance is by these two methods, okay? Existence principle and karmas. And then when it goes back into me alone. And usually in Tattvabodh, we'll see the example of the spider, like the spider brings out the web from its own saliva and then takes it back into his own self. So what Bhagwan is saying is, in the potter and the pot are different in ordinary or the gold smith and the gold ornament, or gold and the ornaments are different. But here he says, I am only the goldsmith and I am only the gold. So I am the nimitta karana, the efficient cause, as well as I am only the material cause. The material cause is my lower prakriti. The nimitta karana, the efficient cause, is my higher prakriti. And beyond these prakritis is what I am finally. So this higher prakriti is to be understood as being Ishvara. Ishvara is pure consciousness plus Maya. So Ishvara is the one that creates. When we say that this world has come from Brahman, directly from Brahman, nothing can come from the unconditioned consciousness. It has to come via Ishvara. Okay, so this is how it is to be understood. So now what Bhagavan is going to say, there is this Ishvara, and then there is the Jiva, and beyond these two is me. I did read the verse 7, didn't I not, last time? I read it now. I've read it. Okay, so now we are on verse number 7. So the first line, the three words to take note is parataram, anyata, and kinchita. There are these three words there. And then the first word is mattaha. Now this mattaha, me, mattaha goes with matta parataram, matta anyata, and matta kinchita. So that matta goes with these three words. Now, in between these three words, there is another syllable, na. Because it's mattahat parataram nanyat kinchidasti Dhananjaya. Dhananjaya is the name of Arjun. I think I explained to you. He was the one that amassed the wealth for the Pandavas. So one of his names is Dhananjaya. So matta. So what it is matta na parataram. There are three sentences there in that first line. Matta na parataram, matta na anyata, and matta na kinchita. That matta and na go with all these three words. Okay, so matta na parataram. Parataram, supreme, means what? There is nothing more higher than me. This is the first meaning of the first thing. Now, higher means subtler. And subtler is always the cause. So by saying that there is nothing subtler than me, he's saying there is no cause for me. So I am the causeless cause. That is what is meant by matta na parataram. Para is supreme. Para is higher. Okay. Parataram, higher than me. Is there something? No. There is these two prakritis. Okay. But this is how we'll understand it now. There are these two. I have this higher prakriti, I have the lower prakriti. But now what he's saying is, there is nothing higher than me. So there is no cause for me. That is the first. Mata na parata. Then, mata na anyata. Anyata, other. There is nothing other than me. That is what indicates to us that this para prakriti and apara prakriti that he's talking about is him only, because he's saying here that there is, it's not like I am here and then there is this one para prakriti over here and apara prakriti over here. That's why he's saying there is nothing other than me, which means that this para prakriti and apara prakriti is nothing but him, because he said there's nothing other than me. Okay, anyata, other. Now, Kinchita, matta na kinchita. Kinchita means there is no effect which is coming from me. There is no effect. Yikes. But did not the world come from you? Did we not say that? That this is my Lord, this is the material cause of the world, and I am the one that is sustaining all this. Is it not your effect? No, it is not. This is what is now telling us. So if it is not an effect of Prakriti, what is it? It is Prakriti alone. Now, come to our gold and gold ornament, or pot and this thing. There is gold and there is a gold ornament, okay? Necklace, bangle, whatever. Is that bangle an effect of gold? Or is it gold itself? So when you're touching the bangle anywhere, what are you touching? What are you touching? There is a ring. Okay, I can't remove my bag. What am I touching? If I touch it here, what am I touching? If I touch it with this hand, what am I touching? If I touch it on this side, whatever side that I touch, what am I touching? I'm touching gold alone. So when he says that there is no effect from me, what he means is I have not modified. I have not modified. And if I have not modified, there is no effect. That means what? Means this effect is an illusion. This world that you see is nothing but an illusion. Because go back to the gold. The ring or the bangle, it's an illusion, because whatever I say it is the bangle, but I'm touching only gold. So what is it? I have given a name and a form to that gold. Now I call it as a bangle. Tomorrow I don't want that bangle. I will melt it and make a chain out of it. What happened to that bangle? It went away. It was never there. It was never really real. That's why Prakriti, when Prakriti, we say Prakriti creates, Prakriti modifies. Why? Because she has the three gunas, Sattva, Rajas, and Tamas. That is the lower Prakriti, lower nature of Bhagwan. And Prakriti only modifies and gives an illusion of this world to us, but actually no change has happened. Gold only, they melted the gold, but gold remained as gold only, na? In the bangle, did the gold change? That's the question. Did the gold change? Gold never changed. Clay, you make a pot, you make a vase, you make a ball, whatever you make, clay didn't change. You change the form, agreed. So what it is by saying that there is no effect coming from me. See, what is the definition of effect? There's a definition for every word. So effect is something which does not have an effect. That's how effect is defined. What is cause? Cause is something which does not have a cause. That is the final definition of cause. So by saying matta na parataram, by saying that there is no cause, because you see, we say, okay, what is the cause of this world? Bhagwan. Okay, then what is the cause of Bhagwan? Then that way we'll get into this infinite regress. Then is there some other Bhagwan that is giving rise to this Bhagwan? Is there some other one that is giving rise to that one? So we cannot go there. That is then incorrect. So it's incorrect means not that we are saying it is incorrect. He is only saying, don't go beyond me. There is nothing beyond me. There's nothing subtler than me. There is no cause for me. I have no birth. Chapter 2, Bhagavan already said that this jiva, this soul has no birth. Atma has no birth. That is what is meant. We say, what is my cause? Oh, my parents, my grandparents, my great-grandparents. We can go like this. But Bhagwan, we cannot. So it's a causeless cause. There is nothing other than, means what? Everything is me only. Everything is me only. And there is no effect that is coming out of me. So if there is no effect, but I am seeing the effect, na? Don't I see water? Don't I see air? Don't I see, earth and all this? Don't I smell? I'm seeing everything. But he's saying there is no effect. Then what does it make the effect? An illusion. It's a projection. That's what this is the point that was made in Sadhana Panchakam. Realize the universe to be a projection of the self, and that S was in capital. So in that class, to go into the, now whoever is here in this class, they will understand that point much better. This is what he's saying here. Okay, I have no cause. There is nobody other than, that means I am one alone without a second. Advayam, non-dual, without a second. Those of you are overlapping into the Panchadashi class, that is what it was defined in verse 1 there by Swami Vidyanand. Advayam. This is what it's coming from. This Gita is before Panchadashi. So this is what. Okay. So no effect, which tells us that the world is an illusion. It's a projection. What has to be understood is, what his meaning is, there is my higher prakriti and my lower prakriti. Okay, low prakriti is easy to understand because you know what? It's material. So it's the material that goes into this world is my lower prakriti. What is the higher prakriti is Ishvara. So what he's referring to, higher prakriti is Ishvara, lower prakriti is Jiva. We are the lower prakriti. And beyond these two, I am that matta here, which is being explained, which has no cause, which has no effect, and there's nothing other than me. So here, when there is Ishvara, there is this, and then there's Ishvara and Jiva. If he says there is nothing other than me, which means there is no Ishvara other than him, which means that Ishvara also is a superimposition on the supreme reality. A very subtle verse. You get this point? Think about it. Think about these words. If there is, see, there is my higher prakriti. Okay, two, we got it. Higher, lower. Okay, fine. And then he's saying, there's nothing higher than me. There is nothing other than me, he's saying. He's saying, this is my lower prakriti. This is my higher prakriti, but there's nothing other than me. Then what is this lower and higher prakriti that you talked about? It is only a superimposition on me. That is how this is to be understood. Think about it. Okay. That's why you need the background before we come into this. Everybody okay, or are there any questions? Or all okay? Okay. So what it is there is this, what is known as the Turiya. He's talking about the Turiya Tattva in unconditioned consciousness. What I say when I say unconditioned consciousness in some of the other classes, that is what he's talking. He says, I am that unconditioned consciousness upon which this conditioning of Maya, when it is superimposed, it is not real. I become Ishvara. Then when the conditioning of avidya is superimposed, I become Jiva. So there is not, Ishvara is not other than me, because matta na anyata, there's nothing. So Ishvara is not other than me, Jiva is not other than me, I am only one, and there is no effect coming out of me. But if you're seeing some effect, it is like the rope. This is the rope is talking here. In the rope and snake example, the rope is saying there's nothing other than me. There's a cause. There is no cause. I'm just here. Okay. There is nothing other than me. Means the snake is not other than me. And then he says, there is no effect from me. That means the snake is not there only. There's no snake, there's no effect. We are saying because cause is rope and effect is snake, and that's why I got scared. But his rope is saying there is no snake because there's no effect. This is what he's saying. And in the second line, what he's saying is, Mai sarvam idam protam sutre manigana iva. This is underlined. This is very important. Sutre manigana iva is very, eva word is very, I told you, eva is not eve. Eva means as though. As though. And by the way, in my father's handwriting, it says imp, means most important. Some of them are imp, and this is imp. So if the M is there, it's most, and that is that. For those of you who don't know, it's come straight from Swami Purushothamananji, and Swami Purushothamananji is one of the foremost students of Gurudev. among his first, Gurudev had 5 students, for those of you who are new, because I've told this before. Gurudev originally had 5 students. None of them are, they've all attained Mahasamadhi. One of them was Swami Purushottomanandji. He was Maharashtrian, and he was the head of Goa in Maharashtra. He was stationed in Kolhapur, and Gurudev called him my Marathi mouth. That was Gurudev's name for Swami Purushottomanandji. And Swami Purushottomanandji, let me also tell you, he was doing a yajna in Bombay, Thane, I think, in Marathi. Halfway through he had throat cancer. Halfway through the yajna, he got serious and he passed. So that yajna was actually completed by one of the brahmacharis, other brahmacharis or other Swami who was there. So while talking Bhagavad Gita, he passed. So imagine his greatness, And he was my father's acharya, by the way. So he's my grand guru that way. Okay. So if he said most important, means for us, it is very, very important, not most important. This verse has to be. So when he says Sutre Mani, in me, Sarvam Idam, every Idam is this. Now we've also, in other classes, we have seen Aham and Idam. Aham, and everything is idam, including the body. Please understand. We think body is aham. Body is not aham. Body is also idam. Body is this. Because I can see the body. I can see the mind. I can see the intellect. So they all fall under idam. So this mind, intellect, ahankara is idam. And plus this, all the 5 elements, out of which this entire world, including the body, mind, and intellect, made out of the 5 elements, it falls under idam. In this idam, I am like the thread that is holding, because he said Jiva Bhutam, he said, right? My higher prakriti. This existence, Sat, Chit, and Ananda principle is as like the thread in the necklace of pearls. So this necklace of pearls, will it remain a necklace if the thread breaks or if the thread is removed? The pearls are going to get scattered. So this whole thing, what he means here is this whole thing is being held by me. That's why he said, Yat dharyate jagata. The whole necklace is being held by the thread. Okay, necklace example is used. So the whole necklace, it's a necklace because of the thread. Is it a necklace because of the pearls? If I just give you a bunch of pearls, is that a necklace? It's not. So what is making the pearls a necklace is the thread. And what Bhagwan is saying is that I am the thread in necklace of pearls. Now, the Dvaitins interpret this as Bhagwan said, is a thread and I am the pearl. So I am different from Bhagwan. But Advaita Vedantins, including Sant Jnaneshwar, he, in his commentary of the Bhagavad Gita, he says that this is like a gold necklace with gold beads, or even a cotton thread, but the thread itself has been knotted. Like I told you, those of you who are from Bombay will know in Hanuman temples, we get that Hanuman thread. It's considered auspicious, and as children we used to wear it, mom used to put it on us and everything. Now that thread, it's a black thread. I unfortunately don't have any, as I've shown you. So what it is a thread, and that same thread is then knotted 4 or 5 knots. Then again there is a thread, then again 4 or 5 knots, and then again. So Advaita Vedantins, they interpret it like that, or a necklace, a chain of gold with gold beads. They don't interpret it as pearl and thread. Dvaitins interpreted as, he says, Sutra, money is there and Sutra is there. Sutra is thread, different. Money is gem or pearl, that is different. But what Advaitins say, and Bhagavan Shankaracharya, and this is how we interpret it, that the thread and the pearls are not different. They are the same. All right. Now, this principle, Sutre Manigana Iva, he will explain, he will give 15 examples he gives from starting from the next verse 8 to 11, how he is the sutra in that necklace. All right. Any questions so far? Good. Clear? Great. Now let's start this one. This is known, this portion in this, not Bhagavan Shankaracharya, but other this thing. It's known as Drishtanta Purnima. Purnima is what? Full moon. Drishtanta is what? Example. So there are 15 examples that Bhagwan is giving in 8, 9, 10, and 11. So 4 verses. And this is not a superimposition. This is fact. This is Vijnana that he's now giving out. How I am the sutra in that necklace of pearls, of money, okay, gems. How I am he's giving practical examples. So this is what we have when in South, very good. See how it's just tying in. Just in the morning, what did we see in that last verse? See his presence everywhere in the universe, right? One of this is how you do it. And what I told you, when you look at the world and look at the existence principle, right? I told you in the morning, everybody remembers. At least I remember saying it. Correct? Okay. Now, this is how you see that line. That's why that line is pretty high. See the universe, see the self in the universe everywhere was the line. And I told you the way you see the universe, see the self in the universe is by recognizing the existence principle which is holding the inert objects. And now he will give you examples here. So let's start with this first one, 8. रसोऽहमप्सु कौन्तेय प्रभास्मि शशि सूर्ययोः प्रणवः सर्ववेदेषु शब्दखे पौरुषं नृषु. I am the sapidity in water. O son of Kunti, I am the light in the moon and the sun. I am the syllable Om in all the Vedas, sound in ether and virility in men. Okay, now Sutre Manigana Iva, I told you, is without the sutra, this necklace cannot hold. Now he's explaining. So the first sutra he's saying is, I am the sapidity in water. Okay, this is fact. This is not vibhuti. You know, when we come to chapter 10, we will see, he said, these are 75 of my vibhutis. That is different. This is different. Water, why is water water? That's what in the morning also I use the same example. It's from here only. Water is water because it is flowing. That's why when you freeze it and it becomes ice, it's called ice. It is not water. And what happens to that ice when you just leave it for a little while, it'll come back to its original nature. Because the original nature of water is sapidity and its coolness. So even if you freeze it below 0 degrees, it'll come back to 0. Even if you heat it to no matter how many degrees up, it will come back to 0 over time. Okay, that is the sutra. The sapidity is what the thread is. That sapidity is what is making that thing water. That's why oil is different. Oil does not have that sapidity. We don't say that this is like water, we may say, but we don't say it is water. Okay, number 1. Second, Prabha, the light. I am the light in the sun and the moon. Now, moon is easy to understand because moon is only the reflected light of the sun. Okay, so basically this is Surya. The sun, the light in the sun, we saw it, those who are in the Upanishad class, na tatra suryo bhati na chandra tarakam. So it is the jyoti of jyoti. The light, the sun is supposed to be illumining this entire world. Okay, but and we say that sun has an illumination of its own. Jyoti, definition of jyoti is that which illumines on its own. Like to look at the sun, to see the sun, I really don't need a flashlight or anything. If I have to look at any other things, my eyes need the light. Then only I can see. So in the light of the sun, I can see the inert world. I can see whatever is in the world. So that light, Bhagavan says, that light is from me. I give validity to that light. How? Because the sun can only be validated by a conscious principle. That is me, a living being alone. If there was only the sun shining and there was nothing living on this earth, who will say sun is there? Who is there to say? Who is giving validity to the sun? Is this consciousness? And therefore, that without that conscious principle, the sun has no existence. And therefore, that conscious principle becomes the sutra in the Mani of the sun. This is Sutre Manigana Iva is being explained. Huh? Don't forget. So the sun is the sun because of the light of consciousness. The sun is shining in the sky because I, a conscious being, am saying that there is the sun. Otherwise, there is no validity to the sun. Jyoti Sham Jyotihi. That's what Upanishad says. Okay, so that is the Prabha. Pranava Sarva Vedeshu. In all the Vedas, I am the Pranava. Pranava Prakarshena. So I am the essence of the Vedas. What is Pranava? Om. Om Upasana is what is prescribed in all the Upanishads. Okay. Now, Om. What is Om? Om is made out of 3 syllables. These are the simple explanations. A, O, and Ma. A is the waking state, O is the dream state, Ma is the deep sleep state. Okay, these 3 states, by saying I am the Om, what is being indicated is that these waking, dream, and deep sleep states are nothing but me, are nothing, they're there because of me. What does it mean they're there because of me? Om, when we chant Om, and then there is that silence, which is the unconditioned consciousness. See, we go through these 3 states on a daily basis. We are awake, then we fall asleep, then we dream, and then we wake up again, and we are going through this. Who has the memory? See, the waker, once he falls asleep, the sleeper, does he have memory of the waking world? Okay, when I start dreaming, do I have memory of the sleeper or the waker? So when I go through these 3 states, only in my waking state, I have a memory of my dream that happened last night and the deep sleep, that whatever time I had deep sleep, I have memory in the waking state. Now, the question is, who has that memory? How do I have the memory? How do I have them? So if one principle about memory is the one who experiences only can have the memory. Otherwise, it is hearsay. See, I only can have the memory of my own dream. I can tell you that, and you can remember it and tell somebody else. But for you, it is hearsay. It is not a direct experience. My dream cannot be a direct experience of you. Same like your dream cannot be a direct experience of me. So the one who experiences only can have memory. So the one who has experienced the deep sleep state, the one who has experienced the dream state can remember. And who is that? Because that is not the waker. Because if it was the waker, even the dream, in the dream, the waker should be remembered. Na? The waker should be there in the dream sleep state. Is the waker there in the dream sleep state, or is it only the dreamer? Is the waker present there? Waker is not present. In the waking state, dreamer is not present. In the deep sleep state, waker and dreamer are negated. Each state, that's why it is, what is the definition of state? Is that which changes. State, this Om is the only one that is analyzed in Mandukya Upanishad, which is the highest that we studied. The thing to be asked is, waker is getting negated in the dreamer, dreamer is getting negated in the deep sleeper. So each one is getting negated in the other 2. That which gets negated is called a state, and therefore they are known as the 3 states. But there is some other entity which is remembering all the 3 states. Now, it cannot be the waker because the waker was not there in the dreamer. It cannot be the dreamer because the dreamer is not there right now in the waking state. Then it cannot be the deep sleeper because the deep sleeper is not there in the waking state. So all 3, how are they remembered? All 3 states, who is that because of which there is memory of the 3 states? That, he says, is me. That is what he means when he says, I am the Om. I am the one because of which these 3 states are sustained. I am the Sutra. of the akara, ukara, makara, which are the three pearls. But I am the sutra. You get it? Okay, let me give you a little bit simpler explanation also. This u, and ma, see, and u are vowels, ma is a consonant. If you take the English language, we have 26 alphabets, right? Okay. In Marathi and in Hindi, what is the word for alphabet? Akshara. Kshara, that can be destroyed. Akshara, that which can be never be destroyed. All right? Okay, fine. This u, and ma, these three alphabets, three syllables, they represent the entire gamut of alphabets. Starting with ending with z, in English, A to Z, because this u, and ma, the sound comes from the throat, the u sound comes from the palate, and the ma sound comes from the lips. Every sound that we utter is coming from only these three places. There's no other place that the sound of my speaking is only coming from these three places. So these three alphabets representing these three places, they represent the entire gamut of the 26 alphabets in the English language. Hundreds in Chinese, but let's not go there. That is too common. So English language, A to Z. Okay. All right. So Om is a representation of all the alphabets which are known as Akshara, meaning Om is also Akshara, imperishable. That's why, that also one way Bhagavan is saying, I am Om, means I am Akshara, I am imperishable. Nothing can destroy me. Okay, now, any form in this world, right, is recognized through a word. Correct? Only when I utter apple, then that apple form will come in your mind. So any form that, even when a child first is born, then we say, oh, male or female. Now, of course, you can tell, but then you name it. So the form comes first and the name comes after, right? So I see something and I say, oh, that looks like a chair. Then that is a stool. That is a table. Looking at the form, I utter a name. Correct? Simple. There cannot be, if I say something like chiripiti, nothing, no form is going to come. That means it doesn't mean anything. So form comes first, name follows, and that name, any name that I take will fall, has to fall under the gamut of 26 alphabets, right? Any name in this world that I take, whether it is a fruit, it's a vegetable, it's an animal, it's a human, it's female, male, child, old age, whatever word that I speak has to fall in the gamut of A to Z. Now, Om is representing this entire gamut of alphabets, which means Om represents all the names in this world. Om represents, and all the names in the world is a representation of each and every form that I see in this world. Correct? Everybody gets this? Okay. So Om is a representation of the entire world. In short, Om is a representation of the entire world, because Om represents the alphabets. Alphabets are representing all the forms, and alphabets are akshara, imperishable. Om is imperishable, and therefore, even if the form gets destroyed, the name changes, but does the alphabet perish? Alphabet never perishes, right? The form, that gold ornament we just talked about, okay, the bangle is gone, so bangle is gone, but chain will come. So nothing happened to the alphabets. Instead of bangle alphabet starting from B, now the name is starting from C. Nothing happened to the alphabets. And so nothing happens to Om. And that Om is what is sustaining. The alphabets are what is sustaining this entire world. So the alphabets now become the sutra for these different forms, which are the money. which are the gems. The form is the pearl. The sutra is the Om. Why? Because Om includes the 26 alphabets. So that way also this is to be understood. Bhagavan is explaining Sutra Manigana Iva. I am like, I am not actually. Actually, there is nothing, no reality. But you see it, na? You see it. That's why world is being explained. There is no world, but I see it. I feel it is real. I feel my happiness is there. So Bhagavan has to explain. All right. Pranava Sarva Vedeshu. Shabda K space. Shabda sound. I am the sound in space. Now, what sound I am speaking, all of you are silent. That's why you can hear me. Imagine I am speaking and all of you are speaking at the same time. What will happen? Can anybody hear anybody else? Will anybody be able to hear anybody else? No. The reason that you can hear my sound is because of the silence. Silence is the substratum of sound. Silence is subtler than sound. Silence is more difficult. Keeping silent is more difficult than speaking. It's very easy to speak. It's the silence that is more important. By saying, I am the Shabda in the space, in K, what he's saying is, I'm the one that is sustaining that sound in the space. I am the silence behind that sound. Because of because of me, I being the silence, you can hear the words that somebody is speaking. Imagine when two people, some people, sometimes both are talking at the same time. I'm like, okay, I go in a group, two people are, I'm like, who do I listen to? Somebody has to be silent. So Bhagavan is saying, I am the silence on the substratum of which you can hear the sound. Therefore, I am the sutra in the sound. Sounds are money. Words that are coming out, they are the pearls. I am the silence that is supporting all of them. I am the sutra, silence in the words. Okay? All right. Now, Paurusham Drushu, the very fact that Nru word is used excludes animals. Because I told you, this Vedanta is only meant for humans. That's why he was praised. I told you, Vivek Churamani also, Bhagavan said this human birth is very rare. That's why I'm telling you this should not be wasted. We should this thing. Okay. So what is virility in humans? Nru translated, of course, Gurudeva said men, but then don't say, oh God, what about women and all? Let's not get into all that. Huh? That's very petty. Humans. Okay. What is that because of which, what is virility in a human being, in a man or a woman, is the ability of that person. Virility is what is, is the strength, right? Now, we are not talking of physical strength. So what is the ability, what is that because of which a human being is called a human being? Why am I called a human being? That is what this virility, Paurusham, means, that because of which I can claim to be a human being. There are three factors because of which we can even claim that we are humans. First thing is karma adhikara, very, very important. Choice in karma, freedom of action, which animals do not have. Animals live by instinct alone. They do not, I've told you this before, a cow cannot think I'm getting anemic and I may as well take iron tablets. The cow doesn't have that discrimination. She doesn't have the freedom of karma. She will act as she is programmed by nature, all animals. But we are not programmed by nature. We have a choice. And that choice is what is meant by virility in humans, because that is what is making me a human being, that I have a choice to choose my karma. I have the choice to make karma into karma yoga. And how do I get that choice is through discrimination. So as a second point, that humans have the discriminative capability, discriminative capacity to discriminate between Shreya, Praya, Vivek, what is good for me and what is pleasing for me. That only humans have, animals don't. That's why the cow will never take iron tablets, no matter how weak she becomes, because she doesn't have that discrimination. I do. When my blood test tells me that my iron is going low, I go on iron tablets. That is discrimination. That is the paurusham that Bhagavan is talking here. Third thing is in the principle of Sat Chit and Ananda. See, in the inert world, Sat is predominant, existence alone. So whatever is inert, you see the table, the chair, existence is there. There is no consciousness. Definitely there is no bliss. In plants, there is a little bit of consciousness. As we go higher in evolution, plants have a little bit of consciousness, but not that much of bliss. Okay, one plant doesn't, see, I gave more fruit than you. The plant doesn't have that happiness, that sort of thing. Then we go a little bit higher to animals. Now, animals, plant existing. Yeah? So sat is there in inert, in plant, little bit of consciousness. In animals, there is existence. There is a more consciousness because a mother animal, like a mom, lioness or she will protect her cubs. A tree, you go pluck the fruit. The tree is not going to say, why you're taking my fruit? But the animal will say, why are you taking my cub? Why are you hurting my baby? The mother will come after you. So there is consciousness is more. And there is a little bit of happiness as well. Because, the dog will feel happy when the master comes in. Horse will, neigh and jump up and down. So there's a bit of happiness. But in humans, it is the fully blown thing we have. We have existence, we have full consciousness, we have full bliss. That is what makes us a human being, that we can experience that complete bliss by recognizing ourselves to be the self, the pure self. And these three things are what makes a human being. And that is what is being referred to here by Bhagavan saying, I am the virility in men / woman, virility, paurusham. That is what is the load of the word paurusham. Virility just translates into strength, but these are what we think is strength is, I have physical strength, I have knowledge, strength of knowledge, I have so much knowledge, or I have money, I've got strength of money. That is not what is being referred to here. That is not the strength that Bhagavan is talking about. Bhagavan is talking about that which is because Sutre Manigana Iva. What is making that a necklace is the sutra. What is making us a human being are these three things. And therefore, these three things are, I am the sutra. That is what I am. So you are being sustained by me. I am the sutra. That is why you're called a human being. That is why you're called a necklace, because sutra is there. All right. Now, there is a little bit more in this verse, but we'll stop here for today. We will see that entire thought process. It's a deep enough verse. Any questions? All clear? We will meet next Sunday for this class. Remember, no class in the morning, but this class will continue. And then we'll continue with chapter 7. All right? Okay. Have a great week. Om Swasti Prajabhya Paripalayantam Nyayena Margena Mahim Mahishaha Gobrahmanebhyo Shubhamastu Nityam Loka Samasta Sukhino Bhavantu Kale Varshatu Parjanyaha Prithvi Sasya Shalini Desho Yam Shobharahita Brahmana Santu Nirbhayaha Om Sarvesham Swasti Bhavatu Sarvesham Shantir Bhavatu Sarvesham Purnam Bhavatu Sarvesham Mangalam Bhavatu Sarve Bhavantu Sukhinaha Sarve Santu Niramayaha Sarve Bhadrani Pashyantu Ma Kashchit Dukha Bhag Bhavet Om Asatoma Sadgamaya Tamasoma Jyotirgamaya Mrityorma Amritam Gamaya Om Purnamadav Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Shishyate Om Shanti 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 Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha Harihi Om.